Frogs belong to the class Amphibia. Amphibians have adaptations for living in terrestrial as well as aquatic environments. Frogs are among the most commonly studied organisms in biology. Although many differences exist between humans and frogs, the basic body plans are similar. Humans and frogs both belong to the phylum Chordata. By studying the anatomy of the frog, you will be able to better understand your own body.
In this investigation, you will examine the external features of a frog and identify parts of its external anatomy. In addition, you will dissect the frog to observe its internal anatomy.
Place the frog in your dissecting tray. Obtain all the dissecting equipment and place it at your work area.
Observe the frog, feel the smooth and pliable skin. Note the coloration on all parts of the body.
The division of a frog's body includes the head, trunk, and limbs or legs. All frogs lack necks and tails. Examine the front and hind limbs of the frog. You can find the digits, which are finger-like projections on the forelimbs and hind limbs.
We located the hind limbs, which are the longer and more muscular limbs of the frog, as well as the forelimbs, which are shorter than the hind limbs.
Examine the frog's head. We located the nictitating membrane that is transparent, covering the sweeps upward over the eyes. We also identified the tympanic membrane or the eardrum located on each side of the head.
Observe the frontal organ or brow spot found between and anterior to the two eyes. The frontal organ is the remaining indication of a third or middle eye. Note the external nares or nostrils that are the openings on the anterior and dorsal part of the skull.
Pry open the mouth. Use the scissors to cut the corners of the mouth where the maxilla or upper jaw and mandible or lower jaw join together. In the frog's mouth is the tongue, which is a muscular, sticky flap on a living frog. The frog flicks out the tongue from the floor of the mouth to catch flying insects. Pull out the tongue.
Feel the maxillary teeth that are found along the rim of the upper jaw or maxilla. You can see the volmarine teeth attached to the skull bones of the roof of the mouth. Notice that only the upper jaw has small teeth. The internal nares or nostrils are also found in the roof of the mouth.
Place the frog in a dissection tray. Ventral side up and pin down the forelimbs. Use the forceps and scissors to lift a piece of skin where the hind legs meet the body.
Insert the scissors and cut just the skin along the midline to the level of the lower jaw. Clip the skin at a right angle to the incision as shown. Now sever the layers of muscle that have been exposed. Make this incision a little to the right of a center to avoid cutting a major vein. The large blood vessel lying under the muscle layer is the abdominal vein that originates in the liver.
In the chest region, you will have to cut through the breastbone. Again, make right angle cuts from each end of the long incision. Fold open and pin down flaps of the skin and body wall. Make additional cuts in the breastbone to expose the organs in the upper body.
The sex of the frog is readily noticed once the internal organs are exposed. If there is a mass of black and yellow eggs in the transparent ovaries, the frog is a female. If the ovaries obscure the view of the other organs, the ovaries may be cut out of the body and removed.
Find the heart in the center of the chest cavity. Notice that the heart lies in a thin sac called the pericardium. We removed the pericardium to observe the three-chambered heart. The two dark-walled chambers, called atria, receive blood. The right atrium receives the oxygenated blood from the veins of the frog's body. The left atrium receives oxygenated blood from the lungs. Each atrium empties into the ventricle, which is the lighter-colored, thick-walled part of the heart. The large vessel forming a Y shape at the anterior end of the ventricle is the conus arteriosus. Blood is pumped out of the conus arteriosus through a system of arteries that you see around the heart.
Locate the two lungs. They are small, spongy brown sacs that lie to the right and left of the heart. Look for the bronchial tubes that extend from the anterior part of the lungs and join with the trachea, or windpipe. Insert a dropper into the glottis and pump air into the lungs.
In the mesentery, between the stomach and duodenum, lies the pancreas, a glandular organ that produces digestive enzymes. The pancreas empties its enzymes through a duct that leads into the small intestine. The dark spherical spleen, which is a circulatory and lymphatic system organ, lies in the mesentery posterior to the stomach. One of the spleen's function is to store blood.
The adrenal gland, which is part of the endocrine system, can be seen as a yellow stripe on each kidney. Fat bodies, whose purpose is to store fat to be used during hibernation or when food is scarce, attach to the anterior end of each kidney. Usually, fat bodies are bright yellow, finger-like projections.
The lens of the eye in a living frog is crystalline and transparent. With the scissors, carefully dissect the eyeball. Remove the spherical lens. Place the lens on your palm and hold it up to the light. Note that it gathers light, even in its preserved condition.
After that, using scissors and a scalpel, we removed the skin of the frog and got rid of its flesh to take a look at its bones.